Hello everyone, my name's Alison from Alison Tarrant Education, and today I'm doing another English lesson on these two words, lose and loose. Now these two words can be quite confusing if you get them mixed up when you're writing a sentence. They are spelt differently and they even sound different when you say them, but they still, for some reason, confuse many students when they go to write them. So we're going to do a lesson on each of these words today. We're going to do a few activities, and if you are confused about these words and you want some help, please keep watching. Hello and welcome back. The first word I want to cover is the word lose. Now this word has quite a few meanings, but I've picked the two main meanings which I think are used mostly in English, and the first meaning is this. If you lose something, you have put it somewhere and can no longer find it. So let's just say you go to a friend's house and you put your keys down somewhere and you lose them. What that means is you've put your keys down somewhere, you can't find them, and that is when you lose your keys. So anything that you can't find, you lose them. Now the next meaning, if you lose a game, you fail to win. So imagine if you were playing basketball or cricket or football or any game at all and you don't win. That's when you lose the game. And your friend might say before you start playing the game, I just know that you will lose the game because they are better players than your team. But that means lose. You've lost something, you can no longer find it. And the other meaning, you fail to win. Hello again. Now let's look at the word loose. Now this word means not tight. It's very different to this word that we just covered. And that word you say it as lose, meaning you can't find something or you fail to win. This word is loose, lose, loose. Now loose means not tight. So imagine if you have a jar of food and lids on jars can be quite tight. But if the lid on the jar is loose, it's very easy to get off because it's not tight, it just comes off easily. Another example of loose would be clothing. So you might see somebody wearing a dress or a shirt that's quite loose. It's not really tight on their body. So that would be loose clothing. So what we'll do now is I'll cover some sentences with this word first, and then we'll do an activity with both the words with many different sentences. Welcome back. Now we're doing the word lose again, and we're putting it into sentences, and I just want to review the meanings again very briefly. So if you lose something, you cannot find it or you fail to win. That's when you lose. So let's look at these sentences and put in the word lose. I don't want to lose the race because I like coming first. So this is failing to win. I don't want to lose the race. So the next sentence. I cannot ever lose my phone because it has my passwords on it. So this is, if you lose something and you can't find it, that's this sentence. I cannot ever lose my phone because it has my passwords on it. And the next sentence, if you lose the game, you won't get a trophy. So once again, it is the same word, lose, and it's failing to win. If you lose the game, you won't get a trophy. And then the last sentence, I don't want to lose my wallet, so I will zip up my bag. And once again, it's this word lose. I do not want to lose my wallet, meaning he cannot find it. I do not want to lose my wallet, so I will zip up my bag. Hello again. Now let's take a look at the word loose, which means not tight, and let's look at these sentences and see how the word loose fits into each of these sentences. So the first sentence goes like this. The lid on the jar was loose, so it was easy to open it. So we'll put the word loose in there, because the lid was on the jar and it wasn't tight. The lid on the jar was loose, so it was easy to open it. Let's do the next sentence. It is pleasant to wear loose clothing so you are more comfortable. So if we wear clothing that's not tight, that's quite loose, it's always more comfortable than tight clothing. The last one. I banged my tooth on the steel pole and now it is loose. Quite a few children do that when they're young. And their teeth become loose, or a tooth becomes loose. So now what we'll do is we're going to do the next video and cover lose and loose in many different sentences. Hello again. Now let's look at these two words, lose and loose. And let's look at the sentences below them and see which word fits into each sentence. Let's look at the first one. You will lose your money if your bag is not zipped up. So that's this one. You will lose your money, not you will loose your money. You will lose your money. So let's write that word in there. You will lose your money if your bag is not zipped up. Let's move on to the next one. The button on the stereo was loose and it wouldn't turn on. So the button on the stereo wasn't tight anymore, it was quite loose, so you couldn't turn the stereo on because it was too loose to make it work. So we'll put this word in loose with two O's. The button on the stereo was loose and it wouldn't turn on. The next one. We will lose the game if it starts to rain. So if it starts to rain, whoever is writing this sentence thinks that they won't win, that they'll fail to win. So we use this word. We will lose the game. We will lose the game if it starts to rain. Next sentence. The lid on the jar was loose and I could open it. So the lid was on the jar, it wasn't tight, it was quite loose and very easy to open. So let's write that word here, loose. The lid on the jar was loose and I could open it. The next one. The handle on the door became loose and you couldn't turn it. So that's this loose. So the handle on the door became loose and you couldn't turn it. Next sentence. If you lose the game, someone else will be first. So we put the word lose. So you're failing to win. If you lose the game, someone else will be first. And the last one, the last example, I need to be careful not to lose my ticket or they won't let me in to the concert. So if they lose their ticket, they won't be able to find their ticket. So that's when you lose something. So I need to be careful not to lose my ticket or they won't let me in to the concert. Well, I hope these sentences helped. If you want more sentences or more practice activity sheets, if you just go to my course platform, it has many more courses actually of more difficult words, and it has other courses as well. The reason why I do these videos is to help you become better at English. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.